At ease. We were talking about before about the new match chiefs being selected, new senior chiefs being selected, and the process. The senior chiefs got pinned already. Now the match chiefs are waiting to get their second star, and the new process, is new. Is it? And I'm sure a lot of them they're upset. They ready to get their second star put on and move on and actually wear it instead of just kind of saying, "Well, I'm gonna eat 8.5" or something like that. But it's just something like you made it that far, and it's like, "Hey, I'm ready to do it." But it's a reason why I'm sure that the Navy went to that because somebody wasn't fulfilling some sea duty type. I'm sure it was sea duty type billets, so they had to do that to kind of prepare from stop doing it from going on for years and years, which has been going on and hurting the fleet as a whole. So, what y'all think about the new process before we just dive into some advice that y'all can get a new master chiefs and senior chiefs? What y'all think about the new process?
Well, I think
Go
I
ahead,
think the
Rick.
new process is just a way to enforce what the Navy had in place already. Because you think about it, Congress done bought so many billets in every pay grade, right? The budget has been made. So take AO. If it's 50 AOs in the Navy and it's 5 AO Master Chief billets, they're gonna promote to those open billets. The Navy should have been sending those sailors to those billets in the first place to let them hang out. But I don't think the Navy thought this thing through because what about spouse colo, EFM? If you got billets there, you're gonna force those sailors to go to those billets. So case in point, I know a Master Chief just come off sea duty. His wife been on sea duty for I'm sorry, his wife been on sea duty for 5 years. He on shore and went back to sea. For quartermaster, there's no Master Chief short billets. So now he pick up quartermaster Master Chief, he going ashore and they forcing his wife back to sea. You see, what about EFM, spouse colo? There's a lot of the Navy not one size fit all. I don't think the Navy really thought this thing through. I'm all for putting people in their pay grades and their billets, but I don't think it's one size fit all. With this
Right.
with the way we're doing it.
That's kind of what we talked about before. Was I think that the theory was great, but we're kind of suffering in the practical application of it. I think that all of us can agree with, okay, you've been selected for a job, and now I need you to go do that job. But the practical application of how do I actually move this sailor to this gapped billet is a little more in depth than I think initially those of us who thought of this being a great idea, say 5, 10 years ago, thought it would be. I think it would have been more like, here's 10 billets, phone is ringing, do you want it? Yes, no, cool, see you next time if you don't. And now it's like 2 years, and there's all of this room that I don't know that I would understand how to actually even deal with it myself.
Yeah, I think another issue too is you got these selected or screened, whatever they call them right now. Every 3 months, they could potentially get disappointed. Every 3 months, right? So you want to put on that second star. Okay, I'm going to apply for orders. Up, you didn't meet the point system. See you in 3 months, and see you in another 3 months, and that can go on. They could technically in a 2 year period get rejected 8 times, right?
Wow.
If you think about it, and then what? Now you got to go back in front of the board again, and what if you don't get the second time? I don't know. It's again like everyone's saying. I understand why, right? Because we need master chiefs out in the fleet, right? But, when I heard the quota was 24 for Master Chiefs when I was there, the math just didn't work out for me. Like, where are you going to put 24 Master Chiefs in the next 2 years? And then you have those regular Master Chiefs that are staying in, say, for example, and we roll into the rotation. Then what? Like, where are we going to put all these folks? And then again, and then what if you've been trying every year? And then let's say you go for 2 years, you've been trying, you don't get selected. Now you go back in front of the board. What's the first thing the board's going to think? You don't want to take the hard order, so now you're back here again. So it's going to be up to us to make sure we annotate in their evals. Hey, this sailor's been trying and trying and trying to get orders. They never got orders. So I just wish Big Navy would have rolled something out and gave us a little more guidance. I think Red was saying you guys are going to put them in a selected category when you do your rankings, right? We're not. We're just going to rank them like normal. But I don't know what's right. I don't know what right looks like with that.
But like, if you put them in a selected category, give them. I guess the only thing you do is give them a soft breakout. We'll be number 1, 2, and 3 of whatever.
Yeah.
Like selected a Master Chief under this system would be ranked this.
That's fair.
So
too. That
if they go back in the pile, they won't be losing that much traction.
Yeah. Yeah.
But doesn't that affect the senior chiefs? Like I was, just for example, I was like a number 1 MP. Well, I could have been a low EP, but I didn't make it. So now I'm expected to move up, but I can't move because those senior chiefs that didn't get the second star yet, they in my way.
All right, and even before I answer that, it was something that came up at our command. It was a senior chief that got selected, and he had been a senior chief for so long. Had it been the old system, which I'm gonna call the legacy system now, I guess is the proper name for it, he would be getting paid. And now, not only is he not getting paid, he can't even put it on. We just did the senior chief pinning, and he just sitting there just looking like, okay. Not only am I missing out on a paycheck, I can't even apply for orders until August. So that is a hard pill to swallow. And when August comes around, no orders might not even be available. So imagine the income that individual is losing right now. It's quite a unique situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I'm running around on the ship doing senior chief things because I'm a senior chief. But then every 3 months, I got to compete with somebody that's been a master chief for 3 or 4 years for a billet. And of course, if that command has anything to say, I would hope. I mean, sometimes, a new master chief's got some young blood and ready to go. But most people are going to want somebody who's done the job. And so you got me in limbo, and I, like I said, I don't know I don't even know what to tell them all right now.
Like we got a senior chief that got, merit. Hey man, you running the season. You got selected to run the season by a board of master chiefs. You done got selected. Hey, you need to get that gold ticket to these other senior chiefs. But they were like, hey, I ain't got orders yet. Maybe I'm not selected, but we got other good senior chiefs come behind them. We know what that eval better look like, right? See what I'm saying?
Hey,
this guy want to keep pushing. We telling him to move back, let somebody else take this pill, and it's like, yeah.
Hey, Red, to your point, it's
go ahead,
it's not a one size fit all. And like Cal was talking about, there might not be availability of billets. So when we think about in the aviation world, the AFs, the AVs, the AZs, some people are career I-level people. Some people are career O-level people. When they advertise those billets, they're going to advertise what they need. They're not going to advertise to the flavor of O and I. And so those people are just going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And again, they're competing against people that are already master chiefs. So it sounded good, but advanced to position it seemed like a better option to me. It got those sea duty billets filled because people wanted to advance, and they made sure they passed their sea duty screening.
I like the advance to position, but I wish they would have had rated master chiefs doing those boards.
Oh, so they CMCs that's doing the boards?
So I don't know who did the board, but I know the rated master chiefs for those rates that was advanced in position. I don't know who did them, but I know it wasn't rated master chief doing those boards.
We had, I think we had an ABCM do one of those advanced positions. He was rated and sat on one of those. So I don't know if every panel was doing it, but I know some of them were. Yeah.
So I don't know. That wasn't to the master chief community. That wasn't well advertised or thought out through us.
I didn't see why we needed to do it. Like I understand you have a gapped billet But again, and like I said, this is where we're getting this group of leaders to kind of eat the sandwich that us old people created. And I'm saying us, though I know that every single one of y'all either have been or currently on sea duty. But it's something that we've created by allowing these extremely large gaps of billets on sea duty. But if we had been enforcing the standards and all of the policies that had been in place, like if you fail your sea duty screening, you go on one period and then due, and if you can't get it together, it's time for you to go home. I like your show, but I don't like it well enough to keep paying you. And I know that sounds harsh, and there's going to be exceptions as well to that. Of course, I don't want to push anybody out the door. That's on a second round of chemotherapy. But, homeboy, that his toe hurts, I'm going to need you to go ahead and go home. Like, your toe can hurt at home.
And even from the standpoint of the C2P that happened, speaking from a command that received a large majority of those C2Ps. Command I'm currently at, we received 5 senior chief C2Ps, 5 master chief C2Ps. One of the questions I kept asking, like, hey, will we be invited to kind of pick our own groceries, so to speak? Especially from the standpoint of me being in aviation, AB, we have different platforms, Amphibious platform as well as carrier platform. So leadership that I currently had in air department, a lot of us is carrier backgrounds. This is our first amphib, so it would have been nice to be able to go and, like I said, pick my groceries and kind of select someone with more of a amphibious background. But unfortunately, wasn't part of that selection. As a matter of fact, when you go to Navy HR website, that selection board membership list still hasn't been published.
Wow, that's deep. Red, something that you said earlier. So say if okay, I made Master Chief and I'm waiting to put it on, but I'm in charge of the season. Would you keep me as the season lead even though I made it?
No. No.
But
No,
I don't know
because,
when. Like I didn't know the thing was 24 months.
I know we're gonna get to this point. I know we're gonna get to this next, but this say this marriage selected, and I said, hey man, how's your family? Is everything good? Can your spouse and your kids travel with you if you get picked? He said, hey Red, I'm ready to go. I'm all in. I said, so in your situation, you want to go? You don't mind you go to Japan, Hawaii, wherever? He's like, I'm ready to go. I said, hey man, pick the first thing smoking. Get paid, go be a master chief. I said, whatever they offer you, take it. I said, because you don't want to keep kicking this can down the road, and then 2 years you fall back in that board. Because I said, we all set selection boards. It's some first year senior chiefs gonna be coming there hot. So you gonna go against Ken that got two-year run as a senior chief, and like I know we deck. I'm top side, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been sitting in short duty for 2 years as a senior chief, and them guys hit it at sea because most of our guys, all rates promote pretty much at the end of their sea tour, right? Sustained superior performance, and we say at sea. So if you promote now, and you wait 2 more years at ATG, and this sailor, he or she been on that ship smoking 2 back-to-back EPs, you go back in that pot, you might not be able to compete against him or her.
Oh.
So I say, hey, bro, pick the first thing smoking.
I ain't even look at it from that perspective.
See what I'm saying?
That.
You can't wait 2 years, bro. You got, just like you, we all got protege we grooming too.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 years, you might not have the best record because I know topside, I know aviation. You can have that EP come from sea. You said it's shore duty. You take that P, get that MP. This sailor got back-to-back EPs at sea. Hey, that third year, 2026? Hey, man, you might not be the best thing on that board.
That's a fact.
See what I'm saying?
I ain't even look at it from that perspective.
You might want to take that. You might want to take the first thing smoking, bro.
Red, to get up out of there.
Yes, sir.
Get up out of there. All right. So
Hey, Ty,
shifting gears a little. So, okay, go ahead.
Real
JP.
quick. Yeah, I just want to point out something Red said earlier about how they're going to be during this ranking board. Him and Cal kind of alluded to it. There is no guidance on how to write these
None.
evals for these people that are selected. There's none, and we out here trying to spitball it and figure it out. So Red command is doing one thing, Cal's command is doing another thing. Who says what's right? Nobody. Y'all, you're all Master Chief. You'll figure it out. Well, everybody gonna figure it out their own way. You right. What's the right way?
I'm glad you said that, man. I'm gonna ask my CMC to call Force tomorrow at Surfland and say, man, what guidance we're gonna put out by ranking by these Master Chief eval? Because truth be told, the Force Master Chief should be giving this guidance how to rank these guys and how to evaluate these sailors.
I mean,
I'm fully that's a Force Master Chief
it again. I mean, we're going to do it tomorrow, but we all know we're probably all going to do it again, because we're going to do it the way we're doing it, and then the way Red's command might be the way they want to do it. So now, now we're going to have to go back. Now, it might be easier because, we got 80% of the work done, but it really shouldn't be done that way. It should be, this is what we're doing, this is the process, here you go. This is the vision that Big Navy has, and they gave us 75% of the vision, and that's the problem, right? So, I mean, we'll figure it out because that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's just like any other new program in the Navy. The first time around, it's always dorked up. I mean, we all know that. We've been around long enough. We got, between the six of us, 180 years of experience. We know first time around sucks, but we'll figure it out, and we'll adjust and we'll correct course and we'll do what we got to do. At the end of the day, as long as we take care of those sailors that are been advanced, selected, whatever we call them, I mean, we'll get there, but it's frustrating, when we don't have any guidance, but we'll figure it out.
Man. But I'm hearing like a lot of y'all like they like the advance to promote though. Is it a good thing? Because at first when I heard about it, I was like, I don't like it. I want you to make it. I want you to go make it and be competing with everybody. But just hearing y'all talk about some things, my perception on it changed a little bit. I'm like, well, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's not.
If I was a sailor and you offered me SEA2P back in 2014 or 15, I'd have been on it like Donkey Kong. I know where I'm going. I don't have to play roulette with the detailer. I ain't got to try to get in on the double dutch. I know where I'm going. Let's go. So for the sailor, to me, it's a good deal.
Ty, you meant to be back in 13, 14, 15, the scene chief. I took that. I took that ATP, bro.
Well, you're right. I know you would have. I mean, I just know the hustle and grind you put in, so I respect that. But again, when I first heard it, I'm saying like, I think it's like, in my words, a cheating. I think that's a better. I think ATP is a better program, but you could have ironed out the wrinkles easier, and then these sailors would have got paid. We would have had any problem like we would have had any problem like you had AP, like the sailor not getting paid. The sailor not doing this and that.
So
because the word would have got out amongst the master chief to tell these scene chiefs, hey, apply.
Okay,
right.
AP got a flag on the field. AP got a flag on the field.
I got one. I finna throw it out there.
Yeah.
So from the standpoint of the sailor, it's great. Like everything has been said, I know where I'm going. I'm signing up for this. I should be ready to roll. But being on the receiving end, hey, are you sure you're getting the best of the best, or are you just getting the best of what was available? That's the part right there.
I think that's our job, the master chief. If ATP would have been briefed to the master chief better, it's enough master chiefs in our community spread out to tell our best sailors to apply. And then if you'd have had rated master chief going down there, we could have cut out some of them 30, 40, 50 scores on the selection board, right? And even if we got 50%, 40% of the sailors to apply, but if 15% of that would have been our top-notch sailors, we could have picked from that little group. It wouldn't have been the solution, I think, a regular selection board. But if you'd have briefed this to the master chiefs, say, hey, rated master chiefs are going to pick A2P, it's enough of us East, West Coast, Far East to say, hey, shipmate, I'm your mentor, go apply. Because I'm pretty sure if ATP would have been there, I'm on the forward 2015, I'm pretty sure Ty, T, all the master chiefs say, hey, Red, you need to apply.
Because see, that was the thing. It was a lot of people that was very, very good that literally said, "I'm not applying for this. I want to compete." They had the Kobe mentality, like, "I want to
Yeah.
compete with the best." You know, I
Yeah.
don't want this. I don't want this. I don't like this flavor. I want to compete with the best.
And
I
see,
want to be known with the best and come out on top. And that ain't what happened.
yeah, that ain't what happened. No, that ain't what
Well, I
happened.
mean, I'm like that. So I told one of my proteges, I said, nah, don't take it. Just wait. Just wait. 'Cause I know your record is good enough to make it. If they making one, they're going to be hard to tell you ain't the one. I promise you that. And I told her to wait, and she made match chief. So that following year, but her stuff was tight anyway. But I'm like you, AP. I'm like, nah, I want to be up with the dogs,
No,
you know.
don't get me wrong. I like A2P better than I like what we doing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
My number one
But I
thing-
like it, though. I like it, though.
but you know, before they made it a permanent, you know, the ATP, before they made it a permanent pay grade, you remember they still had to compete with the regular ranking board. They could be wearing it and they still had to compete. Because I remember the first 8-9 board I set, I saw a guy, you know, a person, I saw a person that, you know, they selected a location nobody wanted to go to. They were a P, E7, and they were about the same E8. So, you know, they didn't promote. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there's wrinkles into it. So I agree with AP. You're not going to get the best of the best. You're going to get the best of the applied. And to Red's point, it's got to be the rated master chiefs going down and making those selections like this is the best candidate. Throw the rest of them back in the bag.
But
Because see, I think PERS and a lot of the power to be are looking at field, and we as rated master chief people who on the deck plates, we look at the fit. They worry about the field.
so could we have fixed it if we would have selected like LDOs and warrants, and I got an alternate in the pocket. My quota is 7, but I got 3 alternates in my pocket, so that when 5 and 6 go out, I'm calling up 8 and 9. So at least I've got the top 10 of 40, vice the top 7 of 40, and then the number 1 of 2. 6 months down the road, because they the only 2 that applied, because some of us, we have big egos, and then some of it was just a matter of, I just came from Japan. Why would I take an A2P to go to George Washington to go back to Japan? Like, I already did my time there. And so I think that we could have fixed it if we would have, instead of selecting 24 machinist made mass chiefs that we know for a fact we don't have billets for, if we would have selected 10 that we know we got billets for, and another 3 as alternates, that basically they know that they're an alternate, but you also know that unless the starter gets hurt, you're not getting called up. And it, you know, so
So
your ego
so
might be bruised, but in 2 months you still gonna call me mass chief.
So it's just like I love that idea, right? But the only thing that is like bring that idea into question for me is just, okay, if we would have did that and no 24 months, you know, just hey, we're gonna call the alternate, but a year roll around and that alternate was never called. Like, okay, what do we do with that alternate?
Well, for like the LDO and warrants, they don't never. You don't know. You don't. They don't. The alternate don't know he or she is an alternate. They never
To the-
announce that. Yeah, they have it. You know, lock, safe key, and all that kind of stuff. But you know, if somebody doesn't get selected, then they call that alternate.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
hey,
true. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. They don't.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know. But I like that. That's a pretty good idea. I can't believe I'm agreeing to this stuff, but it makes sense. You know, I'm
But
always
I just,
that's the hard, strong mentality. But they're great ideas. But I wonder if they really asking the fleet master chiefs that's, you know, in these billets these type of questions. You know, what you think that how y'all doing it, y'all watching it every day. So they don't come back. But I don't know. I guess they're gonna say when we do like all hands calls or whatever, you can say these things. But what person from literally like where Memphis, you know, Millicent is at, with all the policies and procedures come out of, and I'm not saying they don't. I don't know. Do they come talk? But I'm only asking because I never and that never happened to me. So, do they ever come to the actual these commands and ask these type of questions to try to understand, like, what are we doing wrong? What can we do to improve? Because what y'all speaking about makes total sense, but I just don't think nobody really was asking y'all or looking for y'all input.
But just like, but man, just like, just like the whole PAC program, right? They didn't think about the E3 sailor. Now look at this level. I don't think it was thought through at all. The Master Chief, the E8 sailors, but like back to JP, it had to be some fleet and forward Master Chiefs on these panels. So being a Master Chief, I'm gonna trust the process. In this first round, I hate it for these sailors for the next year or two, but I'm gonna trust the process. We're gonna support, and hopefully have our feedback in a year or two, and we can iron this process out. So going forward, we can make this a better product. But right now, it's in a draft run live stage, and some people gonna fall in this grenade for these first couple of years. But it's a Master Chief, Fleet Force, whoever made this decision, we're gonna support it. We all got grumbles and gripes, but I say you trust the process. Like 2016 when the board process changed, right? I said that first board didn't know what the old board really looked like. Iron that out a little bit. So I think this thing get ironed out. Somebody done counted these jelly beans and said, okay, we need gaps to see. This how we gonna fill it. It's gonna be rough and run the first couple of years. Sorry for y'all, Master Chief 2023-24, but y'all about to eat it for the rest of us till we get this product ironed out, Because at the end of the day, we got to fix these gap billets at sea because it's just too many of them. Yeah. I got chiefs filling senior chief billets and quartermasters on carriers, which is crazy. But I think it's our job, now we're going to get to it, it's our job as leaders to get our ladder updated, go to these selection boards and pick these sailors that's chiefs and senior chief billets, senior chiefs and master chief billets. And these sailors that want to hide out in them pay grades, it's our job to lead them in their pay grade. So,
when I think all this stuff started, all these problems started when they created the stay behind list. And they started really the stay behind list. Because you really got to think about it. What the stuff that we're talking about right now, that wasn't talked about years ago. It really wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. No. But when the stay behind list, when you got like a whole squadron on the stay behind list that's supposed to be actually on the ship, that's the problem you're going to have, and that's why we at where we at today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wild. The first time I saw it, I never saw it stay behind until like 2000, I don't know, 13, 14. And it was like, and that was on Ike. I had a sailor that was TAD to stay behind this. I'd never seen the person before a day in my life. I said, well, who is this person? And they was like, oh, well, she don't come on deployment or anything. She just stays there. I'm like, they do this? And then I saw the list. It was like 90 people long and growing. And I was like, that's wild. And so I think that is part of it.
Yeah.
But again, we want to celebrate those 2 stars. Hopefully, they'll get to put it on soon. It's just that's a wild time just walking around like, dang, I made it, but I can't put it on yet. But much love to them all. What advice do y'all have for the newly selected Master Chiefs? Like, what can you share with them? Something that you experienced, this one thing, whatever, that you experienced that you want to make sure that they know and look out for. Good or bad?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like my OGs told me. There's a few of them on this panel right now. You ain't no real Master Chief till you set a board. So that's first and foremost what I tell all of them. You ain't no Master Chief until you set a board.
Yeah, I concur with that. Yeah.
So the one thing I'm telling mine, that yeah, you're screened, but in my opinion, right, you got selected just like everybody else. So don't let anybody talk down on you or make you feel like an 8.5. Because I've seen some of that. I mean, yeah, in accordance to whatever instruction you're still a senior chief, but in my opinion, you got selected just like me. So start acting the role of a Master Chief now, even though you're waiting to get orders. Start doing it now, and don't let people treat you like I said, like an 8.5.
I say that everybody say they willing to do anything to make Master Chief until they make Master Chief, and then they be like, oh well, I don't know about that. And it's happening, and it's happening now, even with this weight. That there's a lot of sailors that were screened and are turning it down before they even get in the hopper to look for orders. And part of it is on the Millington process of how they're trying to roll it out. And part of it is, I don't want to compete every 3 months to put on 9 for the next 2 years when I just competed to do it. And so some of it, so there's a lot of things. And so I always say, everybody say they want to be a lion till it's time to do lion shit. And then everybody wants to back up and go be a cub. And so remember like why you wanted to get here, and don't be afraid to go and take the hard jobs. I'm not asking you to sacrifice your children, but I am asking you to go and take these billets, because that's what you were selected to do.
Hey, I tell those Master Chiefs, like AP said, like, go set the board, yes, but top side, I'm on here because, I'm top side. Quartermaster, boatswain, OS, and mineman. You need to know your community before you go set a selection board, because there's some sailors, right? The sailors, they call orders, not suggestions. Everybody wish they could go to certain platforms, but if you got a first class to go to a sea billet that's not your conventional ship, you should be able to brief that sailor, update the ladder. This is what you should be doing to make chief. If they in different kind of billets, like everybody say LCS, those sailors not doing anything. Well, some people down in LCS are working hard, are doing things, right? ACU community, it's different communities. So when you go down there at a selection board and you're full of room full of Master Chief 06s and you briefing the admiral, when that admiral asks you questions about your rate, not just your rate, your whole community, because you down there as a Master Chief, you got to represent every sailor. So you need to know what those sailors are doing in those billets and what they should be doing to promote to the next pay grade. So if you're a chief in a billet that's non-C and you make senior chief, get out that billet and go to a senior chief billet. But while that sailor performing that billet, you should be able to brief that duty as a Master Chief and represent that sailor. Now your record gonna speak for itself. The ladder gonna speak for itself. Just don't knock a sailor because they're not in a conventional whatever billet. Because sometimes you're forced to go LCS, you're forced to go ACU, you're forced to go RDC on shore duty, right? Which is a good billet. And you should be able to, as a Master Chief, tell those sailors this is what you should be doing in those billets. So when you go down to the selection board, your selection board brief should entail your whole community. And should be able to speak intelligent about your community when you go to that selection board. And then, second point, as a Master Chief, when those sailors come back, don't get promoted, and they got EPs, right? My short answer to them is, like, a fourth Master Chief told me, one of my mentors, got to the forward, EP, number one. I said, hey, man, I'm not making it. He looked at me and said, how many people made it? I said, 3. He said, well, there'll be 3 people better than you. So you need to do this and get better.
Wow.
Right? So my first year, after being number 1 on the 4 3 years in a row, when I went down there and set that selection board, when I read those evals, I'm like, you know what? I'm not the only show in town. There are other sailors doing things better than me. Right? So as a Master Chief, you go set that selection board, you don't brief your community. When these sailors come to you and they mad because everybody think they're the best, it's a fair process, as we all know. You got a panel full of Master Chief and 06s picking these sailors, and they say, well, why didn't they make it, Master Chief? My short answer is, what was the quota? 10. Well, there were 10 people better than you. So let's see how we can get better. Because I can't control the quotas. One thing you cannot control the quotas. Mm-hmm. And I can't control somebody else's performance and not working for me. So those are 2 factors that you can't control. So you got to tell that sailor, they better than you this cycle. So as a master, you got to be able to tell them that and then give them advice on what to do to get better, but you still can't control the quotas. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a tough pill to swallow. But I learned that my first time setting a selection board, and I looked and I saw those other sailors' record. Those sailors EP on a ship that's out to sea. I'm EP on the pre-com.
Yeah, it's a different
So
warfight.
you know what I'm saying?
It's a different.
So you got to tell those sailors, you got to be in the eyes and say, hey, you want the best.
Hey,
that's just the facts.
So my advice to
I'm here.
The new Master Chiefs is to pay it forward. Just like AP and Red said, Cal said, Donnie said, pay it forward. You're not competing anymore. You're not competing against anybody anymore. So it's about paying it forward, and that's all sailors, E1 to E8. Take care of all of them.
Yep.
Looking at all of the records, guiding them in the right way, because you're not competing against anybody anymore. It's over. Your whole mentality from what you've been doing your whole career is, I got to get this CP. I got to get this CP. I got to be the best. That's over with. Now you can sit back and watch other people grow. Plant your seeds and watch them grow. That's my advice to you.
And then I tell them, like, you know, you got these senior chiefs you take to make EPs, and they say, oh, that master chief not doing anything, right? Give that senior chief, that EP senior chief, give them your radio, give them your responsibilities, because I think the true mark of leadership is when you leave a command, nothing changed. If you walk off there, the master chief and stuff fall apart, you hadn't done your job, right? You got to trust these sailors. Oh, they're not doing it right. Or they not doing it right, or they not doing it the way that you would have did it, because there's more than one right way to do something. Right? You got to trust those sailors. You got to train them, and you got to step back and be hands off. So when you walk away, nothing changes, and that's kind of hard because we all got egos, right?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of hard, man. Like those sailors, and then you get a senior chief. Sometimes you see that senior chief, they might be a little bit better than you. You the senior chief. You're master chief now, so it shouldn't bother you. But hey, those people are talented. They get them EPs for a reason. They number 2 of 55, number 2 of 96. Why are you towing that DLCPO radio every day? Why can't you take them to the DLCPO meeting with you? Why can't you let them do the rankings and then you just kind of show them like, okay, if you don't see something right, we gotta groom those sailors, man, and it's hard. But and then people like, oh, the master chief ain't doing nothing. He's not never at work. Well, I got a number 1 EP senior chief here. Well, he or she should be doing my job.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, y'all spoke on something that was huge, especially Red, when you was talking about this know your community. Because the sad thing, like JP and I was talking about this just recently, like some people don't even show up. Your rate don't even show up at the selection board. So it's like, how for the life of me, like how do you just not have a rate? Like I know it's more than one match chief and it's rate. Like you don't have somebody can't go. Like what's going? Like it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like you had no representation for your rate. Like again, somebody got you there, and just show some love back. You know, it's crazy.
I mean, it's just like, you know, a lot of times people when they make rank, you know, they think it's time to pick your feet up. You know, like I made it, I arrived. And just like we tell those first classes once they make chief, you know, like this is when the real work begins. And that's at every single pay grade, you know. Once you make senior chief, guess what? The work is not over. When you make master chief, the work is not over. You know what I mean? Like that line from Jay-Z, make another me, you know, make another you, you know, give back, play it forward, pay it forward, however you want to phrase it, say it, you know, but just know with every pay grade that you make, that letter of appointment says more would be expected of you, more would be required of you, you know, and that's the truest thing ever, you know. You got those 2 stars, don't sit back and just say, I'm good. No, it's time for you to be an advocate for the command, for your department, you know, train that department head and get them to know and understand what's really going on the deck plates and things of that nature, you know. But you just got to continue to put in the work. It ain't, you know, kick your feet up time and everything like that. You're going to get your time on the back end, but it's time to go to work.
Yeah. That's all a lot of good advice, man. A lot of great advice. So we got some new senior chiefs as well. And we all know we've been there, you know, making chief. You know, then you like, oh, okay, now it's time to make senior chief. You know, what I got to do, you know, so you do those things. So now I'm passing you the Hydra. You got it. You know, hey, I made match chief because one thing about making match chief is like being out of the duty section is probably the greatest thing in the world. I promise you. It's probably the greatest thing in the world. Yeah, hey, man. Some people in it for other reasons. I'm like, man, I ain't got to stay in duty no more. It's a good thing. Yeah. You know.
Hey, not unless you're in the surface community.
Hey, man, you know, teach his own. Teach his own, my dog. Teach his own. And I know that for a good reason why they doing that, but I understand that and I respect that. You know, I can't go against it, but yeah, I got it. But it feels good to not stay in duty. But so the senior chief, now they get the Hydra, they in charge of the duty section. You know, they doing their thing now. You know, so, and you can make match chief first time up. You know, whether you go A to P or just doing it through the actual selection board process the normal way, what should they be looking forward to now that they got that 1 star on? They somebody, to be honest. You know, they call it even number, call it what you want, but they somebody. You know, so what
Hey,
would you get to them?
they definitely somebody. I love talking to senior chiefs because I let them know, like, hey, when you walk up that brow, it ain't a matter if I'm going to be, expect to be a LCPO off rip, you know. And they know, I wonder what they're gonna have me doing. No, you're gonna be a LCPO off rip. You might be a DLCPO, depending on that manning. My expectation of you is to run the shipmate, because you finna get a duty section. You finna run a chief mess. Matter of fact, I'm gonna need you to treat the whole ship, you know, like it's your division. To be quite honest with you, you know, I need you to go down there and lead the mess, lead the command, and handle your business.
Yeah, that's just like, I mean, I tell all new senior chiefs, now you got to stop looking through the lens of divisional. Now you need to start looking through the lens of departmental, and now looking through the lens of a command, right? You know, as chiefs, you're pretty much down in that division level now. Now we need you on that departmental level. We need you on that command level. Sometimes you may have to get at the 50,000-foot level, looking down. You know, so I think that's my biggest piece of advice is starting to shift that lens of the bigger responsibilities and looking at that departmental, and then even beyond command level.
I agree, and I think the one thing that I always tell them is, you know, it never even occurred to me to make Mass Chief. I, it never occurred to me until I made Senior Chief. And then I was like, hey, maybe this is possible. And so that's the first thing I tell them is, if it's what you want, it's absolutely possible. And the clock's been running, so you're behind the power curve. I don't care how good your record is, you're behind the power curve. Let's go get it. What has to happen, and exactly what y'all said. Now think bigger. Everything you did at this, I need you to take it 2 to 4 steps further. But it's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't make the realization that it's possible. And so sometimes we have to tell them that it's possible.
I
I just
agree,
tell you,
Adonia.
I did all. Go
Oh, I was just gonna say, they got
ahead,
to
brother.
lead chiefs. They got to think departmental. They got to lead chiefs, and they got to remember their performance is gonna get them out of duty section. Just like Ty said, you perform to leading chiefs and performing at a master chief level, you're getting out of duty section. So you make that your goal. You one step away from not having to be competing for evals anymore. One step away from getting out of duty section. Do your job. Think high level.
I just believe, man, that come from all small boys and being a senior chief on that carrier, um, the senior chief pay grade is like your springboard to what are you going to really do to the end of your career. Are you going to be competitive and promote and make master chief, or are you going to go be that command senior chief? Because I believe you're going to go command senior chief route. I think some prereqs should be senior listed YBL coordinator, CPO mess VP. Because these sailors say, I may see you, I'm going to put in a command package. If you ain't never led chiefs and senior chiefs, you're going to struggle, I think, being a command senior chief. Like, that thing should be like the NFL. It should be a 3-year wait period when you make senior chief to put that command package in. Because a lot of people want to put that command package in to put out a star, and they're not ready for it. Because I'm telling you, the hardest thing to do in the Navy is lead your peers.
Oh yeah.
And a senior chief, leading other senior chiefs, answering the master chiefs, training chiefs, running the department, running senior chief, running. I tell the top side guys, quartermaster, boastmate, OS mama. At this point in the game, I look at your record. You know how to run. You know how to run. You know your rate. I need you to run the mess. I need you to run the seat. I need you to do big stuff because once you make master chief, quartermaster, master chief, boastmate, you really advising 06s, commanding officers. You answering questions to another master chief. If you never led a bunch of senior folks, you're gonna struggle as a senior chief. If you make master chief, say I'm a small boy and never got used to a big pool of people in your pay grade, it's people have problem with that. You know,
And
like
you know, you said
it's
something that you said something that really kind of, you know, stood out to me. I tell people all the time, you know, senior chief is the most dangerous pay grade in the Navy, especially a terminal senior chief, because they're smart enough to know the system and the game, and they get a little crazy with their mouthpiece, especially when they know it's their terminal pay grade.
yeah,
They can damage some stuff if they really want to. That senior chief terminal,
yeah,
that's a dangerous pay grade right there.
yeah. But I tell you, it's the toughest pay grade in the chief mess because you make chief, you get to the top of that swim lane, and the Navy kind of weeds people out to get the senior chief, and to break out in a pool of senior chief amongst your peers. Cause I tell anybody like this, man, I'm telling you, the hardest board that I ever set in the rates I set in is the Boatswain Quartermaster Mireman Senior Chief Board. Those records are so competitive, and you got 15 quotas, and I know Boatswains and Quartermaster might have 5. Boatswains I got 15. I could pick 15 more that's just as good. That is the toughest board to set to me, is that Senior Chief Board. Master Chief, go Master Chief, you just cut and dry. You can't have no,
Yeah.
no filth on that. Like if you either got it, you don't.
Right.
Senior Chief, man, them last 3-4 quarters on the Senior Chief Board, man, them records, like those guys and girls are competitive, man. Like, I tell anybody, I say, if you make Senior Chief, you have put in some work. That wasn't given to you. It's hard to make Senior Chief. It's hard to, it's hard to make Master Chief, but people don't realize, man. They don't realize until you set a board. That Senior Chief board is
Yeah.
it's tough, man. So like AP say, you got some guys that make Senior Chief, then they become terminal. They don't really want to. They ain't really compete for Master Chief, but like I tell you, that Boatswain Senior Chief board and that Quartermaster Senior Chief board is tough.
Man,
It's tough,
Red,
man.
you said something again, man, that just, I tell people, like, hey, as a first class petty officer, you can get pushed to make chief, hey, just do what I tell you to do, and just follow my guide, follow my lead, you fool around and make chief and look up and be like, damn, I don't know what happened. You just followed instructions. But to make senior chief, like you said, oh, no, sir. No, because
No, sir.
I'm done pushing you. I'm done pushing you. I'm going to just give you a little bit of
Exactly.
advice as a master chief. Hey, you might want to do this. You might want to do that. Do with it what you want to do with it. And, hey, because me, I was a 5.0 chief. And I remember signing that eval. And my master chief said, hey, baby boy, ain't nothing else you got to do. It was something I got to do because I ain't make it that year. You know what I'm saying? And that was on the carrier. You hear me?
Exactly.
I'm can speak from experience. Putting that first on, that thing hard, man.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah, man. I remember watching you, AP. I was like, damn, that dude doing this thing. He still ain't make senior chief yet. Like, what is going on? Like, seriously, I'm watching this cat. Like,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
smooth. Like, he was really smooth about how he was, moving. I'm like, well, damn. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. But Red, something you said like kind of made sense too. Like the competition where you competing, being the senior chief on pre-com versus a seagoing command. So it was a old DCA man. He was on the Nassau. I forgot this guy name. Real old salty cat. He said the easiest way to make rank is on sea duty. He said the easiest way to make rank is on sea duty. And once he told me that, it stuck with me, And I was like, I was a chief on my first, ship, So it was like that dude told me that. But he's an old engineer, but he just loves sea duty. So you got to go out there and get it. You got to go out there and get it. So it's a blessing to see people making it, no matter what program or policy they got new, somebody set the selection board and selected those individuals. So congratulate to them, for even going there to do that part. But, like I said before, it's all going to smooth out, iron out. But, this is a shout out to those senior chiefs and master chiefs that made it this time. So, again, now that I tell every chief off rip, go to the selection board. You ain't got to wait till you're a senior chief or master chief. You can go as a chief. Educate yourself in the process so you can be able to go back and talk to your sailors about what's this and what's that. Go to, the exam writing thing so what's going on within your rate. So it's a lot of things that they got to step up and do, to keep that legacy going, because it's a great deal. No matter if you retire early, senior chief, master chief, whatever it may be, but it's a blessing that you made it that far.